How to stop expecting from others? That's the question for this week. Welcome to another episode of Kapong Kid Live, where we talk about crocodiles, the universe, and everything else in between. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who've not met me before, I'm Douglas Kampong Kid. For those who've met me before, welcome back to another episode. Let's see who's on the line. Lei Dui, good evening. Every week I just want to sleep. Good evening, Rindo, Hin Yok, Boy, Ni Nguyen, Chambui, May Tam. Good evening, everyone. So why? So why are we talking about expecting from others? That was the thought. That was the thought that came into my mind. Why are we talking about not expecting from others? And it's it's a very, very broad question. Okay, so it's a very broad question. I'll do my best to cut it up and break it down and talk about what I understand. Okay, so I'm going to first start by talking about this thing called expectations. So what's an expectation? What's an expectation? What's an expectation? It's something that is an idea that we have of something that we want, right? That's what I see an expectation to be. Is something I have an idea. Okay, I have an idea of something that I want. And therefore, so when I have an expectation, there is something that I want, okay, and I have an idea of what that looks like, okay, and to me that is the fact, okay, that is the fact of what should be, and then there's expecting from others, okay. So what is it that then I want from someone else, right? If I talk about having an expectation or expecting something from someone else, then what is it? What could possibly be something that I will want from someone else? And I guess there are many things in many ways that I can think of these things that I might want from someone else. But if I want something, okay, again, I don't have a good or bad about wanting or having an expectation. No good, no bad, no right, no wrong, right? Then the question is, what is that expectation? Okay, does that expectation work for me, or does it work against me? Okay, so there are many dimensions to this. Does that expectation that I have, okay, so it's my expectation, right? Does that expectation that I have work for me, or does it work against me? Okay, and in my mind, of course, it's something I want, right? But what I want can work for me or can work against me, right? So I keep talking about this. It works for me, works against me, works for you, works against you. And then there is and then there's the others, okay? The other party that I have this expectation that I want something from. Okay, so it is not just my expectation it's not something I want on my own that's isolated. It's something that I now am placing on someone else to give to me. Okay, and it can look very different from many perspectives. Okay, it could be I could have an expectation of you to fulfill certain needs that I have. Okay, I may have an expectation of a certain level of integrity. I may have an expectation of how we will play a game together. Okay, whatever that game is, right? Relationship game, business game, or everything else in between. So I may have expectations because I have an idea. I have an idea of how I want things to be. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, I have an expectation. It is an idea that I have of how things need to look like, need to operate, need to function, and then I have that because we are collaborating. Okay, or we are both involved in this thing. So I may have an expectation of that. I may also have an expectation of what you will create in your life, right? I might have that expectation that I expect you to be the best of who you can be. Okay, I expect you to be able to play fair. Okay, in every game that you play, I expect you to uphold certain values. Okay, whatever it is, but it's my expectation. Okay, it's my expectation that I'm imposing on you. So is it good? So there's no good or bad. So I say there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. Okay, then it's a point of when it works or when it works for me. It may work for me, but it may work against you, right? I might have expectations, and I expect you to fulfill certain standards. Okay, that's based on my idea of how things need to be. In some instances, it might challenge you, right? It might challenge the other person. It might push the other person to be better than. But I guess when we frame it as an expectation, yeah, of course, then that's also the expectations that impact me, right? If I play with you, if I play a game with you, and you don't play fair, then there are consequences on me. Okay, so there's instances when the expectations work for me, for you. Sometimes there are instances that don't work for you, don't work for me, and all the other combinations. Okay, work for you, doesn't work for me, doesn't work for me, work for you, works for both of us, doesn't work for both of us. Okay, then the thing that I will look at, okay, this is at a very, very superficial level. Okay, the thing that I might look at, then both of us in having an expectation there. Okay, so I have an expectation. Does that create a win, or does it create value for both of us? I can justify it that way, right? And similarly, you may also have an expectation of me to play a certain way. Okay, so I don't have anything against how this works. Okay, there are consequences. Of course, there are consequences to consider. So I asked, okay, so why, when, at what point in time, at what point, will you want to stop having an expectation, or why would you want to stop expecting something from someone else? Okay, when do we want something to stop, right? When do we want something to stop? Okay, and what is this? Why is it that we want this to stop, having this expectation? Okay, is it not working anymore? Is it working against me or against you? Okay, so whatever the thing is, we get that there is a consequence that's being created. Okay, there's a consequence that's being created, and if that consequence doesn't work for either of us, okay, if that consequence doesn't work for you or doesn't work for me, okay, so it's win-lose. Okay, for someone to win, somebody else has to lose, simply because there is this idea that I have, okay, that there's something that I want from you. Okay, and for me to stop that, okay, so there's a payoff, right? There's something that I'm getting, okay, from, if I want that, then there must be a payoff for me. There must be a reward for me. There must be a reason for me to want that. Okay, and if I want to stop having that one thing, okay, to want that or to need that from someone else, then I must have a reason that will overcome this reason for me to want, right? But I want to say there's nothing wrong with wanting, right? There's nothing wrong with having expectations. There's nothing wrong. There isn't. So that under what? So I keep thinking, under what circumstances? Okay, maybe it's then to. And this is a tough question, though, because I'm still thinking about when I should stop having the expectation, and then that means for me to change or eliminate that want. Right? I need to stop wanting, then I will stop expecting. Okay, so that's the how. I need to stop wanting that thing, then I can stop having that expectation. That's the how. Okay, but the deeper question is, how do I stop wanting? Okay, what is that thing that I want that I can totally eliminate? Because if I can eliminate that, then I will stop having that expectation. That's where I get. That's where. That's where it is actually going a little bit out of. Tough question. It's going a little bit out of my reality box. Okay, on the stop wanting. Okay, the how is easy. Okay, if the question is just a matter of how to stop, then just stop wanting. Okay, that's easy. Stop wanting. Then the next question that comes is then how to stop wanting, right? Okay, what is it that I want that I shouldn't want? Okay, because the thing then that makes it invalidates the thing if that's what I see. Okay, that my life to be that I'm designing. Okay, then there are things that fall into place. Okay, of what that looks like, and part of that. Okay, and I'm thinking the only types of expectations that I have are things that I expect from other people. Okay, are acts of integrity, are acts of honesty, are upholding values, are playing a bigger game, and I wouldn't want to stop having those expectations. I expect that we will co-create, okay, a lot of possibilities together. Okay, I expect, so that's my reality box of what I will expect, okay, from someone else. Okay, and it's not purely for me in that way. Okay, because the thing for me is I will not be attached. Okay, I will not be attached to whatever that is. Okay, but I will have an expectation because I have an idea. I have an idea of how things should be, and my idea of how things should be, okay, is based on what I see as the life that I want to create. I will not have an expectation, okay, that will hurt or harm someone else. Okay, I will not have an expectation that will trap somebody else. Okay, so I don't have a reason. So I don't have a reason, okay, to actually stop expecting something or stop expecting from others. So that's my reality box, and that's why I think it's very challenging for me to look at a question like this. Okay, and so I'm attempting to look at, okay, under what circumstances does this not work? And the only instances when I think it wouldn't work would be if it hurts or harms somebody else or myself. And if it hurts or harms somebody else or myself, then the expectation wouldn't exist in the first place. Okay, if it doesn't exist in the first place, then there's nothing to stop. Right? It's only when we start something that we need to actually stop it. But if we don't start it in the first place, there's nothing to stop. Does that make sense to you guys? And the only and okay, and so what I'm also getting, okay, is being responsible. Okay, if I am being responsible for creating whatever outcomes I want to create in my life. Okay, if I'm playing above the line of laying blame, justifying, or denial or quitting, okay, where I give up my power, and we do that, right? So I do that too. Okay, there are times when I give up my power because it's out of my control. It's somebody else's fault, or that's just the way things are. And that is a pattern. There's a pattern that I started to notice a lot more. Okay, after Money and You, that was not so conscious of before, and that powerlessness. Okay, if I have an expectation from that powerlessness, okay, of I need something because I am powerless. I expect something because I'm powerless, and I expect that power to come from somewhere else. That thought doesn't exist anymore. Okay, it's not. Yeah, but I guess if it's in an instance, okay, it is is in any instance that where that expectation can be disempowering. I'm still keep thinking about the instances when we have expectations that we shouldn't have, that I have expectations that shouldn't have, so therefore I should stop. And I'm having real difficulty in having, because it's, to me, it's the types of expectations that I will have. Right, I expect to play a bigger game. Okay, I expect other people, therefore, also to play a bigger game. So my expectations are a reflection of who I am and what my reality box is. That's all it is. Okay, and it's constantly asking more of myself. It's constantly asking more of, from a perspective of growth and expansion. And in that same way that I have the expectation, I will also ask of someone else. Okay, I wouldn't want to stop that. Right? I wouldn't want to stop that, because the consequence or the result of having those expectations is growth and expansion and moving forward and all that. So I wouldn't stop. Okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't actually stop. Okay. Maybe after this, okay, to stop is to stop one thing. Okay, and unless it's something undesirable, okay, why would you want why would you want something undesirable, right? Why would you want anything? Why would you expect anything but the best? Okay, why would you expect anything less than integrity? Why would you expect anything than being fair? Okay, so if this is the space I'm coming from, this is a reality box that I'm coming from, and from this perspective, okay, I will not stop. Okay, so I can't answer that question of how to stop, because these are things that I will not stop. Okay, but if there are things that you guys have in mind, expectations that don't work, that you need to stop, please drop more comments, okay, that will help me understand a little bit better of where this question is coming from. Then maybe I'll have a different answer for you guys. Okay. Wow, tough, you guys. Okay, how to spot a narcissist? Very easy. Very easy. You just need to know what a narcissist looks like. The narcissist. Okay. So what's a narcissist? What's a narcissist? Okay, so there's this psychological framework, okay, or okay, whatever you call it, that we call the narcissistic syndrome. Okay, it's a condition. It's a state of mind. It's a psychological state. And someone who is a narcissist thinks that he is right, that he is right about everything, that his ideas are correct, that he is the best, most gifted person on the planet. Of course, there are varying degrees. Okay, I can say who's a narcissist, but I won't. Okay, it's some leader that used to be the head of a certain country that we all know on this planet. I won't say who that person is. Okay, so someone who is narcissist, okay, will never admit that he is wrong. Okay, someone who is a narcissist will believe that everyone else, okay, will worship the ground that they walk on. Okay, they think that narcissists tend to think that the world revolves around them. Okay, and everything is about them. They tend to have a lot of judgment about other people because everybody else is wrong except them. So how difficult is it to spot someone like that? Okay, a narcissist would like to believe would like to believe that everybody is their fan. A narcissist would like to believe, actually, okay, correction. A narcissist doesn't like to believe that. The narcissist actually believes that. Okay, to a very very huge extent, a narcissist is very delusional. Okay, the ideas that they have about their reality and how much people worship them and adore them and think that they're the best of everything, um, it's all in their heads, and that's their entire reality box. Okay, that's their entire reality box. Okay, they don't understand what it means, what humble means. Okay, that word doesn't exist in their vocabulary. um so how difficult how difficult is it to spot someone like that? Okay, someone who wants the world to revolve around them, someone who uh, will hold power because they believe that they deserve it, that everything about them is right and good and beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, and I laugh because only they think they are beautiful. Okay, anyway. Not difficult to spot. If I could give I don't give advice. If you don't know that about if you don't know that about me right now, okay, that's the thing that you need to know about me right now, because I don't give advice. Okay, I will ask a lot. I will ask a lot of questions. I will challenge people a lot. Okay, I will give people my perspectives. I'll give people my opinions. Um, I won't give advice. Okay, why will I not give advice? Um, because it comes from what has worked for me, and what has worked for me may not work for somebody else. Okay, it comes from the environment and the circumstances in through which that I experience, and I did things a certain way. It's through challenges and obstacles that I faced. I've overcome them in a certain way, and I will not be so bold or arrogant to think that gives me the right, okay, to advise someone else what to do. Okay, so I will not give any advice. Okay, what I will do is I will share my experience. Okay, what I'll do is I'll talk about what has happened. I'll give perspectives. I'll give feedback. I'll ask questions. Okay, so I wouldn't pass advice to the next generation. Okay, because the next generations, I think the next generation. Okay, so I'm Gen X. Okay, Gen X. What comes after me is Gen Y. Okay, Gen X is 1965 to 1980, around 1985. Gen Ys are around 1985 to 1995. Um, the Gen Zs are 1996 and to about 2000. Okay, the year that they were born. So I don't have advice. I don't have advice. Actually, on the other hand, I'm learning a lot. Okay, I'm actually learning a lot more from the younger generation. Um, and I've said this before, that my generation, my generation, I am 52. People born after me, 15 years, 52. Okay, the youngest of the Gen X's are probably around 40. Um, if we look at the world, the next 50 years, okay, the next 50 years from where I am. In the next 50 years, I'll be 102, 102 years old. And the young, okay, so anyway, we are going to be old. We're going to be very, very old in the next 50 years. Okay, we're going to be at least in our 90s to 100s. Okay, and in 50 years, who are the people who are going to be creating the world? Okay, who are the people now who are going to be creating the world in 50 years' time? Are the people who are very young. Are the people, okay, people who are old enough to lead countries of the world, who will be in their 50s and 60s. Okay, would be a few generations down, right? So the future of the world is going to be created. Okay, you know, it's even difficult to think about the next 50 years. I'll be 100. Okay, the people who will be 50, in 50 years are not born yet. But everything else in between, your values, your philosophy. I'm talking about the next generation, right? The values that you have, your philosophy of life, the things that you see as your reality, the things that you want to create in your environments. Okay, you guys are designing. Okay, you guys are going to determine all that. Okay, and my generation is going to live in that world. Okay, so what advice do I have for you? I don't, because my world is different. Okay, my world is gone. Okay, my world that shaped my reality in my life, okay, is over. Okay, the future is created by the younger people. Okay, so do I have any advice to give? I don't have any advice to give. Okay, is there something I'll say? Is there something I will say? Yeah, of course, there are many things that I will say. And the first thing I'll say is be true to yourself. Okay, be true to yourself and see the truth. See the truth of what's happening in the world. Okay, see the truth of what's happening in the world, and then operate from the truth. And the question or the challenge that I will throw is, okay, is the same question and challenge that inspires me, that came from Buckminster Fuller, okay, one of the masters, okay, the master, okay, from Money and You, which was this. Okay, how do we make the world work for 100% humanity 100% of the time? That's going to be the question that we'll ask. Okay, and the other question that we'll ask is, what problem are you going to solve? Because each of us are put on this planet, okay, with gifts, with talents, okay, with things that we can create from who we are. And each of us are unique. Each of us have got value that we can create, okay, for the planet. Each of us are significant. Okay, so I don't have advice. I have a challenge, and my challenge is this: what problem will you solve? What problem do we have? Problems on the planet today? We have plenty of problems on the planet, right? We have plenty of problems on the planet. Who's solving them? Okay, I'm not even talking about the huge problems like wars and poverty and all those things. Okay, each of us have the capacity, okay, to solve whatever problem that we see. That's our job. When a problem is presented to us, is our job to solve that problem, because it's our problem. How come it's our problem? How come it's my problem when I see a problem? Because I see it. The fact that I see a problem as a problem becomes my problem to solve. Okay, and I have a choice, and my choice is I can solve the problem or I can walk away. But if I see the problem has become my gift, and I walk away, then who's going to solve that problem? Who's going to solve the problem? Then that problem remains unsolved. And I think on the planet today, there are far too many of us walking away from problems that we see that need to be solved. And so these problems, an unsolved problem becomes a bigger problem. And then a bigger problem, and then bigger. So the problems grow. Okay, we don't solve the problems grow. Okay, so I don't have advice at all. Okay, I have a challenge, okay, to everyone, to the next generation, to everyone, especially the next generation, because eventually I will die. Eventually, my generation will die earlier than the next generation. That's the fact. Eventually, okay, my generation, okay, if you're talking my generation, next generation, my generation will die first. My generation will die first. It doesn't matter what problems exist on this planet. So question to the next generation, what problem are you going to solve? Because after we die, right, you're still alive and you still have to deal with the problems. Does the leader need to be the best? What do you think? What is a leader? What is a leader? Okay, we tend to have all these ideas about leadership. What is a leader? Is it possible to be the best? Best at what? Does a leader need to know everything? Does a leader need to, yeah. So does the leader need to be the best? No. the leader doesn't need to be the best. Best of what? Best of what? To me, leadership is about creating outcomes. Okay, to me, leadership is about inspiring people. To me, leadership is about influence. To me, leadership is about compassion and love. Okay, to me, leadership is about courage and commitment. To me, leadership is about engaging people. Okay. To me, leadership is about having conversations at different levels. Okay. To me, leadership is about inspiring other people to be better. To me, leadership is about teaching and guidance. So there is no best in any of that. Because for each of us, that flavor of leadership, that flavor of compassion and love and commitment and courage is different. Okay, but a leader will inspire others, okay, to come together, and to move forward. Okay, a leader will inspire other people to be better versions of themselves. Okay, to me, the leadership is about creating synergy. Okay, where the sum of everyone working together is greater than the sum of parts. Okay, and being able to create more than each of us will be able to do so individually. So I don't have it that a leader needs to be best at anything at all. Okay, what I see the biggest challenge for leadership, okay, is a willingness to even acknowledge or recognize that we can do something to create that movement. I believe that each of us are leaders in some way in our lives. That's why that's why we use the phrase, how are you leading your life? Okay, fundamentally, all of us are leaders in our own lives. Because if we are not leading our lives, if I am not leading in my life, if I'm not creating my life from a leadership position, then what am I doing? Okay, so if I'm not a leader, then I'm a what? I'm a follower. Okay, and if I'm not a leader in my life, that means my life is about following. Right? And my life is created by someone else. Then it's not my life anymore. Okay, so fundamentally, I believe that all of us are leaders. Okay, all of us have the capacity to be courageous, have the capacity for love, compassion, and everything else that I talked about. So there's no best. Okay, there's no best. And earlier we talked about solving problems, right? I think my invitation is, what problem are you going to solve? Okay, what problem are you going to solve? Then we take the lead. Okay, we have the choice to take the lead in solving that problem and inspiring other people to co-create an outcome. That's how it starts. That's how to me leadership starts, with a problem that I need to solve, and then inspiring other people, engaging, enrolling, influencing other people, okay, to help me help me solve that problem. Okay. And all of us have different problems that we need to solve on this planet. Okay, big problems, small problems, everything else in between. And all of us can be a leader at some point, okay, with the problems that we need to solve. So there's no best of anything that we need to be, but there is a willingness. There needs to be a willingness to actually lead. That's what I see. That's what I see as leadership. How to keep energy mood. Give me talk a lot this week. Okay, I'm attempting to understand that question. Energy and mood. And I am interpreting it. Okay, I'm understanding that as how do we get, okay, please correct me if I'm wrong, okay, but how I'm seeing that question, how to keep energy at a certain level. Okay, how to keep energy at a certain level that I guess works for us. That's what I am attempting to understand, okay, from this question. Okay, so what's energy? Okay, or whatever level of energy that we want to keep at. Okay, I'm going to keep that open. Okay, mood or otherwise. So what's energy? What's energy? So we go to so I look at fundamentally, okay, without going into the scientific definition of what energy is, simply put, how I see energy, okay, are vibrational waves. Okay, yeah, okay, so that and it resonates at a certain frequency at a certain level. Okay, so it can be low, it can be slow energy. Okay, low frequency. Okay, so it's slow energy, and then there is low energy, which means that is right, as opposed to fast energy, which is, and high energy, which is magnitude. Okay, so when we talk about powerful energy, right, when we talk about power from an energetic perspective, okay, what are we talking about? Okay, for me, I look at it from a high magnitude. Okay, meaning there's a lot of power. Okay, and resonating at a very high frequency as well. Zero energy, okay, is when no vibration. Okay, so it's flat. Okay, flat, no magnitude, zero magnitude, and at zero magnitude there's no frequency. It's just flat. Okay, and this is death. This is death, because it ceased to exist. No energy, zero and zero. On the other end, okay, at the highest level, okay, at the highest magnitude possible, at the highest frequency possible, is the state of whatever the other end is. Then what do you need? What do you need to feel that? Okay, at whichever level, okay, you are at, that you want to be. Okay, whatever level you want to be is adding more power. Okay, so that the magnitude increases. Okay, and here's what we also say. Okay, positive energy. Okay, it's not right or wrong, good or bad. Positive energy exists at very high frequencies. Okay, negative energy is slow. Okay, so where do you want? Where on this spectrum do you want to be? Okay, and how do we create that? Okay, then we talk about resonance. Okay, okay, I don't have. Okay, so what's resonance? Okay, what's resonance is when you have certain energy at certain frequencies. Okay, moving. Okay, and if it influences something else, okay, then this will start to go, and when they are at the same frequency, at the same vibrating at the same frequency, then we say that they're resonant to each other. That's resonance occurs, and that's why we say, okay, that's why we say when we attract people, okay, we attract people, or we attract things at the level of energy that we are at energetically. Okay, and each of us are operating at a certain energy all the time. Okay, when we are sad, when we're dejected, when we're discouraged, our energies are low. When we're scared, our energies are low. When we're feeling that the world is against us, okay, very slow. Okay, when we are happy, when we are celebrating, when we are high with life, okay, our energies are very high at high frequencies. And we tend to attract, okay, we tend to attract whatever is resonating at that same frequency. We attract other people who are resonating at the same frequency. That's why they say birds of the feather flock together. And this is the science behind it. Okay, so you want to keep your energy, whatever mood or otherwise, okay, whatever that level of energy you want to keep that, then you just need to change your physical state. Okay, because there's okay, okay, at the scientific, at the subatomic level, at the quantum level, okay, what are we? Okay, we are just energy, right? Scientifically, okay, everything that exists, right, is just energy, okay, that's at operating at different frequencies. Okay, this is as layman as I can get it. Okay, if you go and study quantum mechanics and all that, okay, you look at, okay, basically everything are just electrons, atoms, atoms, okay, which have electrons and energy and chemical reactions happening. Okay, that's what we are too. Okay, and we all have a certain frequency that we are operating at. Okay, and how we change that energy, okay, is to change our physical state. Okay, when you're feeling down, energy low, okay, so you how do you energize yourself? Okay, you get into physical activity, right? You start doing things. Okay, otherwise your energy remains low. Okay, if your energy is very, very high and you want to slow that down, what do you do? Okay, you slow down the pace of the things that you're doing. Okay, so we change our energetic state by changing our physical state. Okay, and that's a choice that we can make. Okay, so whatever level that you want to be at energetically, to change that energy level, change your physical state. Very, very long answer to a very simple question, right? Change your physical state. What's it? Actually, this goes back. This goes back. Okay, what's the difference between compatible and chemistry? What's compatible and what's chemistry? So it goes back to the question which I just answered. Okay, about each of us being energetic beings. Okay, and what's compatible and what's chemistry? Okay, at a scientific level, chemistry chemistry occurs, okay, when both entities when both entities can come together, okay, and not explode. Okay, some people come together and they explode. Okay, some people come together and then they energetically they become more powerful, more influential, more whatever it is. Some people come together, they explode. Okay, so not everybody not everybody can energetically come together. Okay, some people high energy, low energy come together. Okay, they cancel they cancel each other out and then they become flat. Um, so so energetically, okay, energetically we will attract the people that we attract into our relationships. Okay, and there are many ways that occur that can occur, right? And energetically, okay, if two people are vibrating at the same frequency, they will create resonance, and that might form some form of attraction. Okay, because of the resonance. Ding, 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 okay. You vibrate together, and then wow, happily vibrating together. Okay, so okay, some for some other people, okay, energetically they're just a little bit out of phase with each other, and they say that's why they say opposites attract. Okay, that when they come together, they start filling up each other's gaps. Okay, because they're energetically different in that sense. Okay, they um complete. Okay, as cheesy as it sounds. Okay, so we complete each other. Okay, there's nothing to complete. Okay, um, so compatibility and chemistry is achieving balance. Okay, to me, is achieving balance at many. Okay, take the science aside. Um, con, com, compatibility. Okay, is when we come together and create more. Okay, have the ability to create more and not explode, right? And not destroy each other in that process. But compatibility looks different to different people. Okay, so in the strengths quotient work that we do, okay, where we help people identify three things. Okay, what they're motivated by, how they operate in the world, and what their talents are. Okay, and each of us, okay, and that the combination of the three, okay, what we're motivated by, how we engage with the world, and how we are talented, okay, is what we call our strengths quotient. And for each of us, it looks different. Okay, because we're all motivated by different things. We all engage the world differently. We interact with the world differently, solve problems differently, work with people differently, and everything else in between. And each of us are differently gifted. Okay, and we are very uniquely talented. Okay, and the way our talents show up, okay, are as unique as our DNA. Okay, how and really our DNA already makes us genetically unique beings. Okay, okay, and in a world of 8 billion in a world of 8 billion people, for people to come together and decide that, hey, something is working. Okay, we can spend our life together, we can be friends, we can work together, whatever that is. There has to be some level of alignment. Okay, there has to be some level of alignment. And from a money and you perspective, okay, now switch over to talk about money. From a money and you perspective, for two or more parties to come together, okay, two or more parties to come together, there has got to be this common, what we call brightness of the future. Okay, that's the phrase we use. What's brightness of the future? Okay, what we see about the future that is attractive to all of us. The same thing that we see about the future that we can share and be aligned with. And it is a long-term game. It is not short-term. Okay, you know that there are some people who come together. Okay, whether it's friends, short-term relationships, and I'll say why they're short-term relationships, or whatever it is. When people engage on the short term, is because that brightness of the future doesn't exist for the long term. Okay, it's just for that moment. Okay, for that moment when two people, for that short period of time when two people have needs and fulfill each other's needs, and they have that thing in common. then that for that period of time, they get together. Okay, but if we are talking about enduring sustainable types of relationships, okay, and it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Okay, it can be your best friend forever, right? Your best friend forever. It could be a partner. It could be somebody you do business with. All of them, the thing that all of them have in common, okay, in each of those relationships, there is a long-term aspiration. There's a long-term goal. There's a long-term whatever that is, okay, that all the parties involved are committed to co-create. That means create together. Okay, that has to be the start. Okay, that has to be the start. And I'll see that this is the biggest point of where compatibility comes in. Okay, how we each operate then to co-create this dream, this future, this vision, or whatever it is that we call the brightness of the future. We may do it differently. Okay, some of us, okay, do it a certain way, others do it another way. When we come together, we co-create, we create more. Okay, that's where synergy occurs. Okay, and compatibility is where synergy can occur. That's created by an agreement that we're going to do this together for the long term. Okay, so to me, if you want to talk about that relationship and as what compatibility means, I will define compatibility as having that common thing that we agree to pursue together. Okay, and if you don't agree, right, not compatible. If you don't agree, if you have different dreams, okay, and again, I think that's what occurs as well. Sometimes when two people get together, okay, people get together at that point in time when they get together, they say, okay, we're compatible because of all these other, okay, and a lot of people don't may not even be able to articulate why they're compatible. Okay, but it is more often than not this common thing that they desire and are committed to co-create together. Okay, and at that point in time, it may be what is real for them. Okay, what is relevant for them at that point in their lives. Okay, but people change, right? People change, and as time passes, as they travel on this journey together to co-create whatever that is, sometimes dreams change, and dreams can change. Okay, and if dreams change, to me, is allow the dream to change, allow the dream to change. Okay, and not pursue it because it was a dream that existed at some point in time. Because we are ever growing, we are ever evolving people. We face with challenges. We experience different things. We overcome and grow and expand in different ways. We evolve, and as we evolve, we may have different goals. And sometimes after people have come together and then they start to have different goals, different dreams, it's okay. It's okay if they no longer have that common thing, okay, to actually say that, hey, look, it's been great. It's been great on that journey together. Now it's time, okay, for us to travel on our own journeys, and maybe be with someone else, okay, who we can now align with, okay, to travel this new journey or different journey with. Okay, but far too often, I guess people get attached to promises made once upon a time that may no longer be relevant sometime down the road. Okay, so just as people can be compatible, okay, so this question can be, you can see that way. Okay, just whilst people can be compatible at a point in time, okay, it doesn't mean that they will remain compatible forever. Sometimes they do, other times they don't. Okay, so is it important? Because yes, it's important because to me it creates alignment, it creates synergy, it creates forward movement. Okay, because the lack of compatibility, okay, where it doesn't fit, right? It doesn't fit. Okay, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. There's going to be a lot of energy spent attempting to make things fit, which could be better spent if they fit in the first place and focus on moving forward. Okay. Why even 10 years has? Why even 10 years? Okay. So I'm understanding this question about cycles. Okay. About why it occurs. If I'm understanding that correctly, if I'm not understanding that correctly, please let me know. So everything exists in cycles. Okay, everything exists in cycles. Nature exists in cycles, right? Every year we have okay spring, summer, autumn, fall. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. Okay, crops grow in cycles. Okay, humans grow in cycles. Okay, human beings exist in cycles as well. So there's always there are always movements. Okay, there are always movements that are cyclical. Okay, there's rise and okay. So energy is shifting. Okay, so this is okay. This is how I see things. Okay, so we live in a closed system. I'm just going to go into that level. Okay, we all live in a closed system. Okay, where energy doesn't get destroyed or created, energy just changes form. That's the scientific theory. Okay, so energy doesn't get created, energy doesn't get destroyed, it just changes form. Okay, and that's why we have to me that's why things will always flow in cycles because it's a closed system. And what do economies okay what are economies anyway? Okay, economies an economy is created by man. Okay, what's the basis? Okay, what's the basis of economy? What's the basis of economy? Okay, it's just the trading of goods and services and the movement of money. Okay, and then we call that the economy. Right? That's all it is. It's man-made. Okay, and then of course you go into economic theories and all that. You talk about how to stimulate the economy and all that. It's just about moving things around, okay, in this environment that we're operating in. That's what an economy is. Okay, economies exist. Okay, economies exist. Okay, because there's demand for things, there's supply of things, and then everything else in between, and all the mechanics that create this phenomenon that we call an economy. Okay, but what is it driven by? It's driven by people wanting something. It's driven by a group of people who have needs. It's driven by another group of people who have things to supply, and then everything else in between that causes all this interaction to occur. Okay, and it all revolves around the movement of money. Okay, so there are many dynamic forces. There are many dynamic forces. Okay, populations grow and wane. Demand goes up, supply goes down, whatever it is. Okay, all these forces. Okay, but if we look at it holistically, okay, we will see cycles. We will see cycles. Okay, if we observe for the entire period of when economies were created, okay, we will see cycles. Okay, so on average, a cycle lasts between 8 to 12 years. Okay, up and down, up and down, up and down, created by humans. Okay, demand and supply. Okay, availability of resources, availability of cash, whatever else, everything else in between. Okay, so it is a phenomenon. Okay, that we recognize that occurs. Okay, and if you study economic cycles, okay, people who study economic cycles will see all these patterns, and you can pretty well also predict, okay, how things occur. Okay, so is this a game that you want to play? Is this a game that you want to play? It's a game that we all need to acknowledge. Okay, it's a game that we all need to acknowledge. We need to recognize how it occurs, and then play our game of life with an understanding of these cycles that occur. Okay, because whilst we may not want to be dependent on it, I'll say this differently. Okay, we can be a victim of circumstances. Okay, as in if you don't understand the game, okay, you're not going to be able to win the game. You're going to be controlled by the game. You're going to be a pawn in the game. Okay, so if you want to win the game, okay, it's understanding the game and knowing how to play the game. Okay, and how to go through the cycles at whatever point, and that's how the people who understand these cycles, okay, are never victims of the cycles. Okay, knowledge, skills, and tools. Okay, practice and correction. Okay, it's the same. It's the same formula over and over and over again. Okay, I hope that answered. I hope that answered the question. Okay, I hope that answered the question. About 10-year cycles or those average. Okay, so between 8 to 12 years. Okay, average, so you can say plus minus. What do I feel like saying when Money and You Malaysia starts? What I feel like saying is that it's been quite a journey. Okay, and I was just actually thinking about this a few days ago, and it started very strangely. It started with this woman called Anne, whom I met in 2019, who hated me then, whom I asked to go to Money. So trace back, right? Okay, who then after Money and You went on to do took some of the things that she learned, okay, from us, and then went to create and build a community, okay, who struggled a lot, but never gave up. Who, in the time when she needed, was supported by an amazing group of people who put their hands up and said to her, "Let's do this together." And because of this group of people who supported her, okay, who said, "Let's do this together," it created a movement. Okay, everyone who in that group of people, okay, you guys know who you are, okay, decided to break through. Okay, decided and chose to be leaders. Decided that they can do something, and committed themselves to doing that. I see what's happening next week as a result of how all this started. Okay, of these people who were committed enough, who then created the movement, the energy flow, okay, and raised the energy so much that there was a huge group of people that came together in a community. And this woman, who came to me, okay, the same woman who came to me beginning of this year and said, "Douglas, you're an old man and you need to do something." And I had no idea. I had no idea what I signed up for. All I wanted, okay, 8 months ago, I just wanted to plant my banana trees and vegetables. So what's going to happen next week at Money and You is the result of a lot of people who believed. A lot of people who believed. A lot of people who wanted something different. A lot of people who said, "We want change. We want to live a different life. We want to live a different life. We want more. Okay, we want more than what we've got right now." Okay, we want to see life work for the better. We want to see change, okay, in our country. We want to see a different future from everything that we've ever known. So I see Money and You next week as a combination of all those things. Okay, the commitment, the courage, the dedication, the energy, the love, the engagement. Okay, the powerful community that has been built. So I see Money and You next week as all that happening. And it's something that I tell you, it's something that totally still blows my mind, because it's in Vietnamese. It's going to be for a group of Vietnamese people, okay, and Money and You is in English, but we will make it work, okay, we will make it work, okay, and we've been working with a group of people, okay, who were committed enough, okay, to spend days, okay, day after day after day after day, okay, working through the content, practicing and getting translations done and all that. So I see Money and You happening next week as a result of all these things. Okay, but really from the courage of people who dared to believe in something that I didn't even see myself 6 months ago. Okay, 6 months ago, okay, we had 200 people who say, hey, we want to go. And that was in I think March, April. Okay, and 6 months has passed. Okay, 6 months has become 6 days. 6 months has become 6 days now. And I told Anne, so you've made me this woman called Anne. You've made me so busy, busier than I've ever been. Okay. But would I choose otherwise if I had the choice to do this all over again? I will say yes all over again. Because what I see that's going to happen next week, okay, it's 200 people who will create history. Okay, 200 people who will create history because there was a group of people who were committed and courageous enough to say, we will do it whatever it takes. I see Money and You next week as the start of something beautiful. Okay, the start of a lot of possibilities, the start of something different. Okay, I have absolutely no idea. Okay, what will what will happen at Money and You next week? Because it's a reality that has not been created yet. But it's a reality that will happen in 6 days, in a week's time. So I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm excited at the same time. But most of all, I'm very grateful. Okay, I'm very grateful to be a part of this. I'm very grateful to have had an opportunity in my lifetime to be a part of this. And yeah. And I told Anne last week, I have not cried so much, so hard, so intensely, so often as I have in the last 3 months. Okay, compared to whatever has happened in my life over the last 12 years, 14 years since my Money and You. So I'm looking forward to it. We will be driving to KL on Tuesday. That's in 5 days' time. And I look forward to seeing whoever amongst you who are going to be in KL next week. And I'm looking forward to the miracles that will be created next week. And that's what I feel like saying. Okay. Thank you for another 60 minutes. Okay, I apologize. I overran the time. Thank you for another 60 minutes. Okay, thank you for another. Oh my God, today was mind blowing. But thank you for asking the difficult questions. Okay, though sometimes I think it's so easy until I attempt to answer it. Okay, thank you for being there. Thank you for your time. And if this has inspired you, again, help me like, share, and subscribe. Okay, boost, leverage, tap on the algorithm of that YouTube. That's called YouTube. And let's do this. Okay, let's do this and let's bring this to a lot more people. Okay, with whatever experience that I can share and whatever value that I can add, if even just a little bit. So thank you all. Very grateful. See you guys. Okay, there will not be Kampung Kid Live next week because Money and You starts next Thursday. I will be back the following Thursday after that. Okay, so stay tuned. The following Thursday when we come back from Money and You, there might be more stories to tell. Okay, in the meantime, you guys take care. Kampung Kid out.